so that will be recorded. Okay, cool. Okay, let me. So I just realized that we have to tell this to everybody, but up here in the upper right hand screen here where it says view, if you click on it and you go to speaker view, then all of a sudden my head gets enormous, and I'm the main person in the picture. Well, right now in my computer, Sandy's the main person in my picture. Okay, which is okay. All right, cool. All right, so let me do this. You always look good, Sandy, so no worries. Okay, so let me start off with this presentation, and then if you have questions or whatever, we're gonna actually have a little discussion and question and answer period when we're done. So let me click on this and we'll get it going. Okay, so let's start out with why the importance of a club trainer, right? And so, like I was saying, a club trainer actually exists in every club, and it's typically the person that knows everything about it and is really helpful to everyone in the club in every way. And so we're going to identify that person today. Okay, so Rotary as an organization, its success really depends on training. And that's why we spend so much time on training, and that's why we have somebody like me who's the district trainer. It's because people come in and out of Rotary, right? So they join Rotary, they get excited, they want to be involved in the leadership of Rotary. And so everybody that does any kind of function within Rotary, there has to be some training in there. And so the reason that is because we're part of a very large worldwide organization. Rotary's over 1 million Rotarians, 1.2 million. There's 35,000 clubs out there in over 200 countries, so it's gigantic. And we cannot have success in Rotary unless we have continuity, right? And so continuity is just our ability to be consistent in the things that we do as time moves on, right? Okay. Now, consistent training, as we have training in our clubs, it helps to build a Rotary clubs like what I call the Rotary IQ. All right, and what Rotary IQ really means is your knowledge about Rotary things, right? And when you take a look at the leadership of Rotary and really any other organization that's out there, the people that are the most knowledgeable are typically the people that are most engaged. So one of the things that I've come to understand is that an informed Rotarian is an engaged Rotarian. So in your particular clubs, when you take a look at the people that are in the leadership of your club, there are people that have taken the time to want to learn things about Rotary. And as they learn more about Rotary, they tend to want to become more engaged because they understand the mission, they understand what Rotary is trying to do for the world, and they internalize Rotary as something that's important to them, right? Because join Rotary, the number one reason why people join Rotary to figure out some way to do meaningful service to their community. That's the number one reason, okay? People stay in Rotary because they want to have opportunities to do service, and they also create relationships within Rotary that last a long time. Okay, so the more engaged people you have, and that engagement develops leadership. And an organization can only function and survive if it has leadership. So I'll give you a prime example. So over here, I live on Hawaii Island, and about 25 years ago, we started a Native Hawaiian Chamber of Commerce, okay? And people came out, and it was really active, and it moved. And, we were doing a lot of interactive stuff with all of the people that were members of it. But then our leadership kind of fizzled, and then over time, it just got, people weren't interested. I mean, they wanted to be a part of the organization, but they didn't want to lead. All right. So because we had leadership the organization basically fizzled out. And it went dormant for about 15 years before we were able to revitalize it about 3 or 4 years ago. And so one of the things that we learned from, time number one that we started it is that we have to develop leadership if we want our organization to survive, and Rotary is exactly the same way. So when you look at the clubs that are struggling, and then on the flip side of that, clubs that are doing pretty well and they have engaged membership, it's typically because they have done some work in the development of leadership. Now, see this picture, this kind of young girl, I've got my arm on her shoulder. That's Marissa Guerra, who is my granddaughter. Now, she's 22 years old, and I already decided that, she's going to help us in the development of leadership, or she's helping us. And so she's actually the sergeant at arms in our club, because nobody really wants to mess with her because she's a former wrestler. Okay, so engagement develops leadership. All right, so what does a club trainer have to do? Part of the reason why people don't want to be club trainer, because it sounds like a lot of work. It sounds like that, you're constantly going to be, training people, that you're going to have to sit down with them one-on-one and make sure they understand their job, which is part of the role. But, there's so many resources out there. We have actually in our district, more leadership training, or more just basic Rotary training than probably any other district in our zone. So part of what a club trainer does is just help everybody to understand what they're doing, So club trainers can help all of these people. So you have the president, president-elect, secretary, treasurer, board members, youth service, community service, public image, foundation, new members. But here's the thing is that the club trainer doesn't have to train all of these people. All they have to do is just direct them in the right area, because we do a lot of training almost constantly at the district level. So really just trying to help people get themselves into the right place at the right time. Okay. So, did I go backwards? I think I went backwards. Hang on. I want to go this way. Okay. So what kind of person makes a good club trainer? So like I was saying, you probably already have a club trainer in your club, and they don't know that they're the club trainer. So your job is to tell them, hey, you know what? You're the club trainer, or you have the characteristics of one. So it's typically, an experienced person that's kind of like the go-to person in the club. And every club has a person like that that's been around a long time. In our club, it was really Audrey Wilson, who was like the mother of our club, and she just knew everything and was aware of all the stuff because she understood the history of the club. So if you have that kind of person in your club, that would be typically the kind of person that would be a good club trainer. Okay, so you kind of think of this kind of person as kind of a kupuna, so like an elder, or an alakai. So if you're if you understand a little bit about Native Hawaiian culture, an alakai is like a guide, right? So in like a hula troop, like a halau, so you would have a kumu, who's the main teacher of hula in a club, but their assistants are the alakais, are the ones that do a lot of the actual training. So if you think in those terms, you can get a good idea of what a club trainer actually does.
Can I say something?
So, Rick, question?
I think we need to be very careful saying we want an older member. I think this person could be a newer member of the club.
Yeah, you're right.
Moving towards new models. I actually think having the old go-to person who just tells people, this is the way we've done it the last 30 years, is problematic. So I would suggest we shy away. The person who's been there the long time, because that in many cases is not serving our clubs as we move forward into the new
Okay, or just somebody that has some experience, somebody that has been there, like you're like not an old timer, but you're somebody that has some experience, right? I mean, you have a lot of knowledge about Rotary, and you're motivated to want to participate in that. So that's good. Exactly. It's a good one. Thank you, Rick. That's good. That's a good point. All right. So one of the ways in which club training can really help is in new member orientation, because we find that when new members come into our organization, one of the important things is we want to try to get them acclimated, feel like they're at home there, that they can create relationships with other Rotarians that are in the club, and sort of kind of get them firmly settled in there. So the focus, my feeling actually is the focus needs to be on new members. Everybody needs to focus on that and make that new member feel welcome. And a person like the club trainer can encourage everybody, like say, here's Sandy, she's a new member, so let's everybody reach out to Sandy and make her feel comfortable. Okay. So part of what a club trainer can do is to I use the word drip, but you can use another word if it's more applicable to you. But just put information out to the club, because as people become more involved or informed, they become more involved and more engaged. So we used to do a thing in our club at every meeting called Rotary Minute, and it was basically just any kind of information about Rotary that might be interesting to our group, like where did the Rotary wheel come from? How was that? How did the term Rotary come up? What was the first Rotary club in Hawaii? So just little tidbits of information that might make it interesting for Rotary members. Okay, now some clubs, you can rewrite your bylaws to make sure that they have a club trainer, or put that club trainer as a board member. There's a lot of things that you can do with with your bylaws that can help the job of a club trainer. So take a look at those. Take a look at where your club trainer can fit in our club. The club trainer is actually automatically a board member. Okay, so what resources does a club trainer have? Now, we have a humongous amount of resources in our district. If you go on our website, and actually I think that's the next slide, we actually have a training library, and that was something that Naomi put together this year. And it's basically a bunch of a lot of resource material, plus a lot of recordings of sessions like this that can rewatch or watch as many times as they want. Rotary International itself has a lot of resources. So if you go on Rotary.org, you sign in. Everybody in Rotary should have a little My Rotary account. If you don't have one, they're really easy to get. Just go on there and set up a My Rotary account. That'll give you access to Rotary Club Central, which is all kinds of material that's in there that can help you and help your club. And then, of course, this picture on the other side of it, you can see Rick standing there and a whole bunch of other people. It's that we have amazing, amazing resource people in our district. And they're not just resourceful, but they're also willing and able to help us if we reach out and ask. And that's one of the things that have made my job just a lot easier, is that when I reach out to people and ask for their help, they're more than willing to give it. And that's part of what attracts people to Rotary, is that people have the willingness to give and to help them, right? So like I was talking about our training library, so right here you can see there's we have a little button right here, a tab that says training library, and if you click onto that, there's a whole list of stuff on all kinds of stuff, on membership stuff, foundation, on public image stuff. All of these trainings that we've done over the course of the year, they're recorded, they're uploaded into YouTube. There's links to those that you can watch. And there's also people that you can connect to. So, you know, this is last year's picture of our, basically our president-elects. At the last time we had in-person pets. This year, for the first year, we had sorry, that's my sister calling me. We have pets virtually, which actually worked out pretty good. Okay, let me click on here. Hang on a second. Part of what the club trainer can do is to remind us of why we're in Rotary, and it's that why that really keeps people connected and entrenched in Rotary. So, you know, and we talk a lot about that at the beginning of every year. It's like, okay, why am I in Rotary? You know, why am I doing this? And if you can answer that why, and everybody has a different answer to that, then that's the thing that keeps you in there. So typically people will stay or come to Rotary for two reasons. One, first, they want to provide service to their community, and second, they want to create relationships. And it's basically those two things that keep people in Rotary for a long amount of time, or the reason why they come. But the thing that cements them in there for a long period of time is that they, long-time Rotarians, or even short-time Rotarians, you can have it at any time. They have this this Rotary moment where they something happens to them that makes them feel like, wow, this is an important thing, and it resonates with them, and they stick with Rotary a long time. Like for me, when we had the big lava eruption over here in 2018, one of the things that lava eruption did is it wiped out one of our charter schools, Ku'okala. And so with the help of all the Eastside Rotary Clubs, we helped the school actually kind of rebuild itself, or we renovated another building so that we were able to get those kids back into school by the time the fall classes started. And so it was really a great thing, you know, to be able to work on a project like that. But I didn't realize how great of a project it was until the kids came back. So when the kids came back and they were coming up to us, and you know, we had a big opening ceremony and everything, and they come up to you and they said, wow, you saved our school. And their parents said that too. And so for me, that sort of cemented in my head, wow, that was my kind of Rotary moment that really did it for me. Like, wow, this is an important thing that we're doing out here. And it's worth my time, effort, and my energy to be out here. And so that's my why. And a good club trainer, if they understand people and understand the history of people and what motivates them, they can remind us of what that why is. Okay, now leadership transition. It's the most critical time actually for Rotary. So the next 3 months, we've got April, May, and June. So all over the entire world, Rotary is transitioning, right? So we got new leadership coming in, and the old leadership, or the existing leadership that's there, we want to help them to really finish strong. And then the new leadership, we want to get them so that, you know, their wheels are up off the ground and they're flying when they take over officially on July 1. So the club trainer can really help in facilitating that. So if you were in this morning's session where we had people from, you know, Goodwill and Salvation Army and Aloha United Way, they talked about strategic planning. So one of the things that the club trainer can really do is help walk the club through a strategic plan, put together some of the goals that you think you can finish up for this year, and that you can also add on for next year. So this leadership transition time is really important because, like I said, for the existing presidents, we want to finish out the year strong, and for the incoming group, we want to get them settled in and feeling like everything's in place, so that by the time they take over the full leadership of the club in July, things are really cranking here. Okay. Now, one of the things that I've always believed is that continuity builds success, and then if you have continuity, good a good changeover or transition in leadership, that it really will help your club, because Rotary is a gigantic organization, but what it really comes down to is that where Rotary really lives is in the clubs. And so, I mean, you can be the president of Rotary, but you're still a member of some club that really needs to have all of these things functioning to make it go. So one of the things that we did is that we tried really hard to put together a 5-year leadership line. Now we're lucky that in our people that saw that vision and were willing to participate. But continuity builds success, and one of the main things that a club trainer can do is really to help build continuity within your club. Okay, so now if your club doesn't have a club trainer, or if you're the club trainer, that's terrific. I'm glad that you're here. Consider appointing one, or talking to your president or your board about getting one in there, because there's resources and connections at the district level that could really help make that position really go. Stop sharing here. Okay, so that's kind of the presentation for today. I wanted to open it up to see if you guys had any questions about it, and we could chat a little bit about the role of a club trainer while we're all here. I was gonna, if we had a big group, I was gonna go into breakout rooms, but we got enough right here, so we can have a conversation about it. So any questions or comments about that? How many, just by show of hands, how many people here are club trainers in your club? Anybody? Okay, good. Okay, excellent. All right, so Lynn, what's been your experience in terms of being a club trainer in your club? Any things that you think you want to ask about or share with us?
I guess it's hard to differentiate my role as a club trainer from what I do in the club. Because I'm so active in the club, and I just kind of I'm just kind of involved in everything. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to say exactly what I do as the club trainer, because I haven't done the strategic planning part, or I haven't had a specific time during a meeting to talk about something specific to being a club trainer. Yeah. Okay.
So what do you think you need in terms of help from us? Because part of what we can do, I mean, I'm talking about myself, people like Sandy, Naomi, is to come in and help do that strategic planning. I mean, this year I probably did a half a dozen different clubs. Or just come in and just kind of walk them through that process. Do you think that would be helpful?
I think that's something that our PE is going to do.
Oh, good.
I think I just have to help him with it. Yeah. I think what could be helpful, though, as being the club trainer, is having a job description.
Okay. Okay, good.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Marianne, you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, in my instance, what I really try to do, because as you said, the club trainer isn't the one that does the training. It's the guide, to show people where they can go to find out what they need to know. And that's the really hard thing, because a lot of people, just because I know the answer, they come to me. Yeah. They figure I'm going to give them the answer. Yeah. And when I tell them, okay, go to such and such, and that's where your answer is, and more information that you could possibly use. And some members, are kind of hesitant to do that. They figured, well, hey, you're the club trainer, you're the go-to person. Why? How come you're not telling me what I want to know. And that's a difficulty that I think a lot of club trainers are going to have.
Yeah. Okay, and that's probably true, because sometimes people don't, you know, you tell them for it, but they don't want to look for it.
Yeah.
They just actually want you to do it for them. But you're in a good position, and like Sue, and that, you know, you're very active in your club, and people see that you're active in your club. So they're I mean, even if you weren't the club trainer, right, they still would ask you these questions because, you know, they feel like, well, let's ask Marianne. She probably knows, right? So you're in a good position then to be the club trainer, because you can at least, you know, direct them to places where they can get the answer, or put them on to a webinar of some kind. Or the other option is that you could always ask for help, and somebody could come in like myself, or, you know, anybody from the district management team or leadership team that could help with that. But to your point, Lynn, about getting a job description, we could write a job description up, and you know, so we could make it, so we could clarify it more succinctly, because you know, maybe the more clarity there is, the more empowerment there is for people to kind of go forward. But I think you know, part of the challenge too, right, is that we can make a job description, and we can put it out there, and I'm fine doing that. But then also letting people know that you know, part of the job is you know, kind of being intuitive. And I can see, like, somebody like Marianne's been around a long time, Virginia, maybe you that have been around a long time, that can see where people might need help or might need to have some assistance, and that could offer that, where that could be really helpful. So did you have anything oh, go ahead, Lynn. You gotta unmute yourself. Go ahead.
I just want to clarify, it doesn't have to be like a bullet point of what our responsibilities are. Even a general statement like, I don't know, we're the conduit between the president-elect and the president, or
Yeah.
we're the go-to person for whatever.
Yeah.
Just something general like that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Well, typically how I see it, it's basically the continuity mechanism for the club, that to make sure that there's continuity. Like, what I find in clubs is that they develop a kind of identity for themselves based on the habits that they do, right? So some clubs, like, they have just a doing stuff. And because they follow that, it creates kind of a personality or for them. And what I see in people that are pretty good club trainers is that they understand that about the club, and they try to keep that continuity going. Like in our club, our club has kind of a personality, in that they like doing certain things, and then certain things they don't like doing. So they tend to want to do things the same way. And so when you interject some kind of change into that, all right, now the people that don't like change will say, hey, we don't like it. But if there's enough people that say, hey, man, that sounds like a good idea. Like for example, we decided we were going to change our venue, right? The same venue that we've had our weekly lunches, we were in that same venue for 20 years. And when I became the president, you know, it wasn't economically feasible for us to stay there because they're losing money every week. So when I suggested, oh, we're going to change, and we're actually just in the same building, right? But instead of in the banquet room, we were going to go up to the restaurant and have our meeting in the restaurant, so we could just order off the menu, which is going to like save a ton of money, right? And they're all, I mean, wow, back. And it's mostly the older guys, right? Who just, hey, they want to come, they want to sit at the same table, they want to eat the same buffet. So they pushed back and said, no, we're not going to go. so I said, okay, so who wants to go, right? And so half of the people said, hey, well, we wanted to go. I said, okay, well, let's just go. Half of the people that want to go, let's go over here and we'll try it. We'll do a trial run. So all you guys who don't want to go, you don't have to come next week. But the guys who want to go, you guys come next week, right? So all the guys who want to go, they came, right? And they went, wow, this is awesome. You can order off the menu, right? And so then next week, everybody else came, so, sometimes, it just get to kind of work change into the club. And so part of what the club trainer, really has to do is to make sure that that if there's going to be change, then there's sort of continuity in terms of how everybody adjusts to that. So anybody else have any thoughts or ideas you want to share about it?
I do have to share. You did help our club, Rotary Club Honolulu Sunset, with the beginnings of the strategic planning.
Oh, yeah.
And we're thankful for that. Some guidance to our president, who's really new to Rotary. What I do as a club trainer is just kind of keep her on track to make sure that we follow what we want to do and that we accomplish those goals. They're reachable. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm guiding our club service award, club service chairs on the checklist, for the awards, making sure that they complete them and they do the narrative and stuff like that. And then I do the board training, and many of our members are, have been members for a long time. But I think you need to gain some kind of respect when you are the club trainer, because you have some experience, you are the go-to person, but you also want to give them the resources so they're not always dependent on you.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I think I've been helpful as a club trainer. Sometimes at the beginning, there was some confusion between the club trainer and we have Liz Kane, who is the ombudswoman. And then we also have a membership person who does the training. So at first they thought I was the one who's now going to take over the training. I said, no, I'm not the trainer. I'm only the trainer for the club. I'm your alaka'i. I don't like the kupuna.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. But we want to thank you for that, the strategic planning. And it's an ongoing process.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. So some people mentioned that they had an issue with the kupuna thing because it sounds old, right? Okay. So and that's fine. But alaka'i is a different term, right? It's like a guide, and you can be a guide. Like to Rick's point that you brought up earlier. Sometimes the older people that have been there forever, maybe they're not the best people to do it. But the best people to do it really are the people that want to do it. And if you just write one quick idea, or like what Lynn's looking for is like tell us exactly what they do. And really, honestly, the club trainer is the person that's in charge of continuity in the club, so that as the club starts progressing, that the people that come into the club, there's continuity in what they learn going as becoming a member. That when you do your fundraising, that from one year to another, the people that are taking over the fundraising this year, there's some continuity in that. When they make that transition in leadership, when the PEs are coming in now, and then the sitting president now is finishing up the year, there's some continuity in that. So if I had to describe club trainer in one word, it would be continuity. It was to give your club some continuity. Because imagine, right, if you had to start all over from the beginning every year. And so if you're like me, right, when I was president, one of the things that I said at the end of my term was that, man, I'm just getting to understand what I'm supposed to do. And now my term's almost over. Okay, because there wasn't a lot of continuity in our club. I mean, when I became the president-elect, I learned all the stuff, and then my sitting president just said, okay, I'm done. See you later. Good luck. So, yeah, and made continuity more difficult. So, okay, guys, I'm gonna have to wind it up now. Appreciate you guys joining today, because we have to start another session really in 5 minutes. And some of you may have already are here for that session, so that if you are, we're just gonna I'm gonna stop the recording right